Welcome to the Metal Bob Live podcast. I am your host, Metal Bob. Today's show is brought to you by Legend Picks and also artist and producer, Mr. Jeremiah Kalleck. You can find links to our sponsors and more at the Metal Bob Live website. There you can also find links to the latest Metal Bob gear, including shirts, hoodies, and more. On today's show, I had Mr. Phil Koubek and Ty Phillips of the Phil Koubek Project. We were here to promote his new album, I'm Your Rockstar. The album drops on December 17th on all digital formats and will also be available in physical form shortly after. So as always, sit back, have a listen, and enjoy the show. Thank you. Hello, Phil.
Hey, Metal Bob, what's up, buddy?
How you doing today, man?
Oh, doing good. How about yourself?
Doing real good, buddy. Real good. So,
awesome. I got Ty here with me, and
hello, Ty.
Rock and roll.
Hi, Metal Bob.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good, doing great, man. Congratulations on your guys' album that's getting ready to hit the shelves.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having us on, man. This is awesome.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it.
No problem, man. Absolutely. I've listened to it several times now. I really enjoy it. Some good classic rock and roll, man.
Cool. Thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
So, I mean,
we had fun making it.
Was that kind of the vibe you were going for? Kind of the old school classic rock?
Well, honestly, it's just the way I write. I kind of write anything and everything, and then we just kind of took the songs that fit together the best, and because I write metal and I write all kinds of different styles and whatnot, but kind of took the songs that went together and picked the best ones from those, and kind of said, hey, this is what we're going to do, and kind of bounced some stuff off Beck and Michael. He wasn't super picky about the songs. He just said, make sure that you keep them, in the same vibe. Don't get too diverse. But yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a fun process.
Right on, man. So would you like to tell everybody a little bit about the band, the Phil Koubek Project?
Well, okay. Yeah. The recording group it's three, young lads from Arnold, Nebraska, a small town here in Nebraska.
There's about 600 people that live there. So
yeah, it's a pretty small town, and so Mike and Ty and I we grew up together, and even though we're kind of separated a little bit in age, Ty and we've been friends since we were kids. But Mike, he was in a band with my cousins. And so he's like 5 or 6 years older than I am. And so he was in a band, and kind of, I was always picking on my cousins going, hey, you gotta let me come in and hang out with you guys. And anyway, became friends with Mike, and we ended up in a band together a few years back. And so when I was putting together to do this project and trying to figure out what musicians I wanted to use, Ty and Mike were the only two. I mean, I can't imagine doing this album without having those two guys. They've just been lifelong buddies and fantastic musicians. Ty's a phenomenal drummer, and Mike is just a phenomenal guitar player. And so I had to ask them again, and finally I begged them and got them to agree to do the album with me, and the three of us went in the studio with Michael Beck and made what I think is a pretty good album.
Oh, buddy, you guys knocked it out of the park. Like, I know me and you've had some conversations, in the past few weeks, and I was blown away, man. I really enjoyed it.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate it. You when we go into these things, we write what we write from the heart, and then you hope that it connects, and you put down what you love about music. You put it, out your own music, and then you just hope that it connects with people. So hearing you say that, I really appreciate that, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, kind of, in my opinion, I feel I hear a lot of like old school Kiss and Def Leppard and even some Thin Lizzy. It just kind of puts me in that kind of frame of mind.
Yeah. Well, and Ty can vouch for this. We're huge Kiss fans. I mean, that's my favorite band.
I'm wearing a Wicked Lester hat right now.
Oh, wow. That's cool, man.
And a Phantom of the Park shirt.
Yeah.
I'm wearing an old Kiss 70s old Kiss t-shirt. Yeah, that's just our vibe.
Nice.
Yeah, and you know, the thing honestly about the three of us, and we're pretty diverse in what we listen to. We love rock and roll, obviously, and metal, but we're pretty diverse in what we listen to. And I think, you know, growing up and Kiss being the first, you know, band that I really fell in love with, it's kind of hard not to have that influence come out when I write. But, you know, I love Maiden's 2-guitar attack, Judas Priest's 2-guitar attack. And so I like incorporating, you know, harmony guitars and stuff when I write. I always write with 2 guitars in mind. So I think, you know, when you hear like the Thin Lizzy stuff, that's, you know, there's elements of that, yeah, that come out. And I think each one of us, when you listen to it in the individual, you know, like the bass lines and the guitar lines, when Mike plays a solo or something, you can kind of hear those different influences that we each have that come out in our playing style. So
yeah, right on.
It's cool that you recognize that.
Yeah, I've been doing this I'm doing this stuff for a long time. I listen to a lot of things, and you know, and I've heard some really good stuff over the last few years, man. But you know, that kind of took me back a bit, man. With, you know, right out the gate, man. That, you know, as soon as you hit them guitars, you guys got there's a lot of good hooky riffs in there, you know, and just it kind of grabs your attention right away. Is what I'm trying to say.
I know exactly what you're talking about with the Thin Lizzy influence on one particular solo. And when Mike recorded that solo, as soon as he got done recording it on the first take, I turned to him and I said, "Roll me over and turn me around."
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, it's a great record, man. I mean, Wake Me When It's Over is one of my favorite ones, I think, I'd have to say. So what went into the process of writing that particular song? What were you thinking about?
You know, that's a great question, because Wake Me was one of all these songs that I selected for this come from my whole catalog of songs that I've written through the years, and hundreds of songs that I've written. So that song was written here about 6 years ago, and I was actually playing in a band, and I kind of had this moment of, hey, you know, sometimes in bands you don't necessarily always get along with everybody, but you're there and it's kind of a business agreement type thing. And I kind of had this feeling like, you know, yeah, sometimes I'm hard to get along with in a band, because you fight for, you know, what you believe in musically. And when you're in a band, it's like a marriage. You have to compromise at times. And this was kind of a song that I just said, you know, I like who I am. I like what I write. I don't want to compromise. And, you know, I'm going to be this guy until my dying day. And it kind of represents life. You know, as I get older and edging closer to death, you know, you kind of look at it and say, you know what, I like who I am. And if you don't like it, you know, that's okay too. But I'm just going to keep rolling on. So
Right on.
that's kind of the vibe.
Yeah, it's a great song. What was the Dirty Wings? I mean, I could go on and on. I mean, every song on the album is solid. I mean, from beginning to end, it's just one of those records you turn up to 10, man, and just rock out to.
I appreciate that, man. That's awesome.
So
yeah,
December 17th, am I correct? Is that when we expect this thing to be available?
Yes, that is. Yep, that is correct. It'll be released on all the digital platforms, you know, streaming and downloading.
Okay.
So physical CDs, we had some delays in production there, so they probably won't be available until after Christmas.
Okay.
But as far as the digital download, we went ahead and kept the date at December 17th, and we wanted to, get the album out there.
Right on. So how long did it take you to put this actual production together, this album? How long you been working on this particular project?
Oh, it's probably been, I started talking with Beck, Michael Beck, I should use his full name, but Michael Beck and I started talking probably in October of last year about doing a project together. And I reached out to Ty and Mike probably in November. We went into the studio to do our first session in early February of this year. And we recorded 6 of the tracks then, and then completed the album in September and finished up the last 6 tracks in September. So, yeah, it's kind of been a good year of pre-production, post-production, all the in-between type stuff. So,
right on. So how did you hook up with Michael?
So that's interesting. I was playing in a band called Soul Static, and we were talking about doing an album. And I had been in that band for about 2.5 years, and we had talked about doing an album. We had wrote a bunch of songs, wanted to do an album, and I'm of the mindset that I want to do it. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. So I wanted a good producer and actually do an album, a legitimate album. The other guys in the band, they were kind of wanting to work regionally and stay within the state as far as what we were looking for and kind of keep the costs down. And I don't fall for that. I completely understand, we're dealing with limited budget, type thing. But I kind of wanted something bigger. And so I started reaching out to some of my buddies in Nebraska that had recorded with, different albums and projects and stuff, and asked them who they used as far as producer. And Michael Beck, his name kept coming up. And I'm like, well, this guy's mentioned a lot by a lot of these bands, my buddies that play around the state. And so I was talking with Jesse Dinner from Dear Frida, and he was actually in the band Siren at the time, and he kept raving about Michael Beck. And I sit there and I go, oh, okay, well, give me his contact information. And so I reached out to Michael, and we just kind of hit it off, man. He's of the same frame of mind that he comes from that vibe. And when he heard the tunes, that I sent him some of my demos, and he was like, yeah, this would be a good project to work on together. And so we kind of hooked up that way, just through word of mouth, me getting out there asking people, who is the best guy to work with. And he did some amazing work with Empire's End, Slant Piece, Siren, and bands like that, Hooked, Phantom. And when I listened to those tracks, I was like, man, I really like what this guy's doing. So it just seemed like the perfect fit. And it was.
What's funny is when Phil brought it up to me that he was going to use Michael Beck, I said, that guy's the lead singer for Kings of Dust. So I already knew about him.
Yeah.
when Phil brought it up. And I didn't know he was a producer. I only knew him as a lead singer. So,
well, and it's funny too, is so Ty knew Ryan McKay and A.D. Adams, and had met them and was kind of buddies with those guys because of their podcast that they were doing. And so Ty knew Ryan, and that's how he got hooked in with the Kings of Dust, because Ryan was the guitar player in Kings of Dust, and so Ty was like, that's the lead singer from Kings of Dust. And I'm going, yeah, it's the producer, right? And that's how I got turned on to Kings of Dust, was because of Ty. So, it was just a weird way of how it all came together.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have had a better guy in the studio with you, man. I mean, Michael, he's sharp, man, when it comes to that producing stuff. Guy's sharp as a tack.
Yeah. he's great to work with. He knew how to speak to each one of us to get us to perform and get the most out of each one of us, whether we're doing vocals, guitar, drums, whatever. I mean, he's been doing it long enough that he's got it down pat, but he was just, he was awesome to work with. He just knew how to talk to you to get you in the right frame of mind to deliver the goods. And that was, just awesome.
Yeah, well, you guys delivered the goods, man. You definitely delivered the goods. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm really happy for you guys, man, that this came out the way that it did. And I think people will really be happy that they purchased this album. I think they'll really be excited. So.
Oh, awesome. I appreciate that, man. Yeah. We're excited about it too. We're excited to get people listening to it and and get out and start playing and supporting the album, all that good stuff. So.
Yep. So you're saying, December 17th, it's going to be available on all digital formats and then a physical copy sometime after the holidays. That's what we're looking at.
Yep.
So
that's the plan.
The Phil Koubek Project. I Am Your Rock Star.
Yep.
How'd you come up with that? Come on, man.
It was kind of a joke. My wife and kids like to joke around with me because, I've been doing music, my entire life. And so when I'd head out to play a gig or something, they would always say, there goes Dad off to be a rock star, play rock star. And so when I was thinking of titles, I kept coming back. I wrote that song, I'm Your Rock Star, kind of based off of, everybody giving me crap and kind of doing the stereotypical type rock star stuff, lyrically. And so when I was thinking the album title, I'm saying, I'm gonna use that as my album title, I'm Your Rock Star, just kind of as an inside joke for a family thing. And it was funny because back when I told Michael that that's what I was going to call the album, he's like, well, that's kind of forward, man. That's kind of ego, and like, it's all in fun, man. It's all a joke. And that's kind of why if you listen to the whole album and you go through that at the end of I'm Your Rock Star, it's Ty and I kind of joking around about, bringing it back down to street level and saying, hey, let's go grab something to eat, man.
Right.
Since we're done being rock stars, now we can be real people again. And so we had fun with it.
Right on, man. Well, dude, I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to the physical release of this thing. And once again, I've got Phil and Ty here from the Phil Koubek Project. I hope I'm saying your name right, man. I never did ask you how to pronounce it, so I hope I'm on it.
It's Koubek. Yeah, it's actually Koubek.
Koubek.
I've been called Koubek all my life.
I apologize, man.
Yeah, nope, no need to apologize at all.
The Phil Koubek Project.
Koubek. Yep.
All right.
That's exactly right.
It's like assistant to Michael Beck. Koubek.
Yeah, Koubek. Yeah. I guess I should ask these things before I start, tearing them up over the air.
No, not a problem at all, man. Michael still calls me Koubek, and that's okay. It's completely okay. That's the way it works, man.
Well, right on, Phil. And Ty, hey, I appreciate you guys, man. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll be in touch with you, Phil, so we'll be talking.
Okay, awesome, man. Appreciate it.
It's great talking to you. Thanks.
You too, Ty. Take care. Thanks. Congratulations on the new album, the Phil Koubek Project. I'm Your Rock Star. Right on. All right, guys.
Take it easy.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That concludes today's episode of the Metal Bob Live podcast. Make sure you pick up the Phil Koubek Project on December the 17th on all digital formats. And once again, thank you for listening. Have a great night. Metal Bob out.